Okay, so what you saying, people, and welcome back to your favorite YouTube channel. So today, guys, like always, another weekly analysis for you. On the screen are the pairs that we'll be analyzing today, but make sure you do stay to the end of the video because I do have a bonus pair in store. So make sure you do stay to the end of the video to find out which pair that is. But yeah, guys, we'll get into the video. I'll break down my trade for this week. If you do have a particular pair you're looking for, feel free to use the timestamps down below and jump straight into it. But yeah, I will go over my trade here on peso this week, which was a partial win. Didn't hit my full target, but I did manage to secure my first TP, my first target for the trade, and later the market did come back and take me out of the trade, unfortunately. But I'm still looking at it going into next week, because I still do have targets up here. So still a long way to go. We'll be looking not to do the whole trade in one go, but maybe 2 or 3 trades. So it definitely will be on the watch list for next week. A little bit choppy right now, so wait for it to clear back up again. But the trade I did have, I placed on Monday, so pretty early on in the week. Entry was around on that kind of stop loss below with some wiggle room, and yeah, I was looking for a move to the upside. I had targets up here, so this was like the full target. I wasn't looking for the full push just yet, but 20.21, something like that was my full target. And yeah, I did hit my first target, which was coming to this low, so I managed to secure some nice profits. However, you can see it did come back later and take me out the trade. And you see it's very, very messy right now, and peso does fluctuate quite a lot, as you can see. So it's quite good to kind of day trade. Maybe the spread might put some people off a little bit, because it is an exotic currency pair, so it's not as like EURUSD example with tight spreads, but it's very good to just buy and just exit quickly. But it does have its moves, as you can see, so I'm looking to try and capture that next big move to the upside, not in one go, but maybe multiple 2 or 3 trades. But yeah, I'm looking to get back in. It's still a little bit messy, so I'll wait for it to clear up, maybe look for a high low somewhere. But yeah, only a partial win for me this week. But yeah, we'll jump into EURUSD. So EURUSD, we are looking for a push back down into these lows still, like I said, for last week. The area of interest I had was this level here. It looked very, very good at the start of the week, but unfortunately, the market did open up bearish. I believe from here actually opened up bearish and then consolidated really for most of it. And to be fair, if you do zoom out a little bit, that's all it did this week. Big push to the upside after the news, but it hasn't really done much. It's just basically consolidation this week for EURUSD. But it does mean nothing's changed from our bias. We're still looking for us to return back down to these lows here at 0.5506. So that's still what we're looking for. There's 2 kind of setups I'm looking for EURUSD. Either a push to go and test that level up there, which is again the same level from last week. Nothing's changed. So if you come and hit that level, still be looking for the sells for the move back down again. Or if we can clear the level there with some momentum, shows that we're starting to break through some structure again, and bears are stepping back in, because right now, you know, the bears are having a tough time breaking through this. So realistically, I don't really want to sell into that unless I'm up there where I can take some partials, or take some partials and get my stop loss to break even before we get to that level. So if you can break through this level, that would be nice at 0.96800, and then from there can get a break and retest and short it to the downside, because again, multiple time frames still pointing bearish for EURUSD. Monthly, weekly, daily, full H even still giving us lower lows and lower highs. So again, not really trying to overcomplicate it and just take advantage of what the market's giving us right now, which are these bearish conditions. So for EURUSD, still looking for sells. It's very, very choppy, so I'm looking to see if we can get one more pop to the upside up around 0.98300. If not, break and retest. Pretty clean move. You can see the price action there, pretty clean. Not a lot of resistance in our way, so we'll be expecting a push back down to these lows here at 0.955 for next week. Okay, so next up we've got USD JPY. So this one is still flying to the upside, as you can see, creating high after high. And I think we have taken out those monthly highs I was talking about all the way back in 1998. As you can see. So yeah, we're taking out those highs. So again, you know, with this type of market conditions, it's difficult to pinpoint where the market could get to, where potentially it could reverse. It's taking after level after level, so it's difficult to find out where we could reverse. So the best thing to do is just trade for momentum until the market does give us some signs of reversal. I'm looking at this area here. As you can see, this area of supply where we did drop to the downside, this could be where the market could be attracted towards. Again, it's around 156, so still quite a bit away from current price and where we're trading. So still 700, 600 pips away. So it might be a while till we get there. But at the moment in time, the market is still displaying a lot of bullish structure here. So the best bet to do in these conditions, like I said, is just follow that momentum. We're not seeing a lot of pullbacks over the past kind of couple of weeks. So the best way, to actually take advantage of it is to drop to low time frames, hourly, 30-minute, even 15-minute to take advantage of these pullbacks. And you don't have to look for anything complicated. Breaks and retests work very well in these conditions because there's so much momentum present that when the market does, reject these areas, likelihood the market's just going to fly to the upside and continue the trend. So into next week, there is an area that does draw my attention. This area here, where I believe we did have some news for the dollar, and this is the wick. As an outcome from that, around 146,500. This area is where price did grab liquidity, so we could see price potentially come back and retest these areas. Again, it's hard to know for sure. Momentum is still pretty strong. We could open up bullish and still skyrocket some more. There is 150 over here, big psychological level that the market could be attracted towards. So, whether we actually do pull back down to this area, is up to the market completely. There is a very, very nice level here on the 4H where we create some really nice resistance, which I remember we were trading at that level not too long ago, which if we can get a nice little retest of that level, which is what I was talking about this week, obviously you didn't really get that. Longs from that 145 level could look very, very good. But again, I doubt we'll get there by next week. So that's a level to keep in the back of their heads for now, but I don't think it will be any relevance to us for next week. So mainly focus on this 147 level. As for targets, best thing to do is just use the psychological levels as targets. 150 is a big one, which the market could be attracted towards. That could be a nice target to use. Or you can just trail your stops and see if you can take advantage of a bigger swing. There's different ways you can manage it. But if you are looking for targets just to take your profit and leave, psychological levels are your best bet, because if you look to the left, there's really nothing there. So yeah, 150 could be where we're headed towards. A good area of interest, 146.5, potentially even this 4-hour resistance there as well, 147.5 as well. These could prove to be some nice areas to reject. Again, nothing too crazy, just break, retest. Momentum's already present in the markets. That's all we're looking to take advantage of and continue to the upside. So yeah, 150 looks like a good target. With this momentum, I reckon we could get there by the end of next week. Hopefully the market can retrace. If not, it might just fly and get there pretty early on. But if it does, these are good levels of interest to look to trade from. We've got 147.5, which marks that level up there. And then slightly below 146.5 as well. Like I said, there are some levels down here, but I highly doubt we'll be trading at those levels by next week. So this is what I'm looking at for JPY. Just looking to take advantage of the pullbacks and ride momentum to the upside. And now on to USD CAD. So USD CAD this week, a little bit corrected, but we did see some upside, and we did go and hit that monthly target, which I was talking about, into this area here, just below 1.4 there, so 1.39676. You can see we just about spiked it. So for USD CAD, everything's still bullish. Nothing's really changed with USD CAD. We could still be looking to go and take out these highs, which are the COVID highs. We still could be looking to go and take those out eventually, but this is a very strong resistance where we could see some downside. The market is quite overextended to the upside as well. Retracement could be needed, but again, my job's not necessarily to predict what the market's going to do, just tell you what's most likely going to happen. And looking at the current data and what we're seeing right now, everything is still looking to the upside for USD CAD. We're still printing higher highs and higher lows. The only thing that is a slight hint that we could see some downside is obviously that rejection there going into that level off the back of the news earlier this week. Other than that, everything is still looking bullish. We've still got higher highs, higher lows. Price is still respecting support, as you can see, and we still see momentum to the upside. So your best bet for next week, definitely from an intra-week or intraday perspective, is still looking for those buy positions. Yes, sales will be there, but again, those are not the bigger trades. So you want to be not pushing those sell trades too far until we get some major structural breaks, such as this price swing low there. You can see we formed the high, higher low, new higher high. If we take out this level, that will start to potentially open up the floodgates to the downside, and sales will be looking a lot more attractive. But as of right now, the buyers are still in full control. So we could be seeing a push into 1.4 there, potentially going, oh, just hit it bang on, potentially going to hit that psychological level. But again, I wouldn't push these buy trades too long because we are trading to that monthly resistance there. So your best bet is potentially another pullback into this zone here at 1.371 or a retest of this resistance here, which was the level that we were struggling pretty much throughout last week and this week as well. So I retested that level and you got some buys to the upside. Pip ranges, you're looking around 150 pips from this 1.382 level, and you've got 200 plus pips there to the upside as well. So there's a lot of pips at the moment right now in all pairs, not just USD CAD. So you can still take advantage of that on the lower time frames. But again, I wouldn't be pushing these trades too far because we have approached some very, very key high time frame resistance. But we could be looking at price pushing back to these highs again and maybe even 1.4. And then I'll see what happens next week in terms of maybe a longer term buy. So for USD CAD, still framing longs, watch out for 1.382. Nice area to buy it from. We had a nice strong 4H candle closure above there. Nice little retest. Could look for some longs. Or if we do come back to this support, you can see we rejected it 1, 2, 3, 4 times. The market is holding this level pretty well. If the buyers are still in control, you would expect them to remain above that level there, for price to remain above that level. So again, 1.37100 looks like a great place to go long as well, and targets back at those highs for next week. And now on to Euro Pound. So Euro Pound this week, nice strong down move this week. Again, we were expecting to see the market kind of sell off at least one more time. I wasn't expecting it to break through this support, as you can see there. I wanted us to hold above 0.87. We have climbed back above, but looking at the daily chart, it's not looking too good. So I'll go into that in a second. But we did have this strong move into 0.87, which is around there, as you can see. And then we had this corrective move to the upside. And I said, when we do get corrective reactions from strong levels, it's a sign that the market most likely will come back down and retest it again. You want to see some impulsive reactions, not where the market's corrective and then we had another follow through to the downside. I was looking for a bit of a double bottom there, and the market actually broke through. And if I go in the daily time frame, you can see we have broken through, the weekly, which is this level here. The market has just kind of closed below. It's not the most convincing close, but it's a sign that the buyers could be failing at this retest of that level. And I'm only still looking for that monthly wick fill if we do stay above 0.87. So for next week, I do think we can get some nice sells for next week. I wouldn't push the trade too far because I'm still wary of the higher time frames. But from a full H standpoint, hourly standpoint, the sales definitely do look good. So from 0.87400, you can see we had this fake move to the upside, taking out those highs, definitely attracting a lot of buyers there, and then we just absolutely melted to the downside. So retest that structure where the buyer stepped in. Now we can see potentially sellers step in there, and again roll over to the downside and just basically continue the structure here of low, lower high, low, lower high, potentially lower low, or at least retest the lows there. So that's kind of what I'm looking at for Euro Pound. Again, as to longer term bias, I'm still waiting for a bit more price action after that weekly candle closure. But at the moment, we can get some nice intra-week sells there, or even intraday as well, back down to 0.861 from 0.872 for next week. And now we're going to move on to Aodu USD. So this week, again, not too much, but overall we're still seeing that bearish momentum strong in the markets. As you can see, pretty sideways, but we remained holding this resistance here at 0.632. And you can see the bears are kicking back into the downside. I've still been talking about this monthly target here, so the candlestick low, and then potentially we've got the wick lows down here, but again still a long way down for that. So we're still focusing on these targets here. You can see the market is not too far away now, so expecting more downside. To trade this one, there's not a lot of room to work with. As you can see, the target's right there, so there is a likelihood we could open up and just go and hit the target straight away. But if we do see some upside, most likely it's going to be retracement, and we can sell it back down again to the downside. And again, I wouldn't really try and buy off these levels. 0.613 is the target. I wouldn't try and buy off it. I know it's a strong monthly level, but we are seeing monthly, weekly, daily, 4-hour, hourly bearish momentum. So it doesn't really make sense trying to buy that momentum back up again. for a singular trade. So if you are looking for longs, I'd wait for at least a break of this structure here at 0.63380. Give you a lot higher probability longs, and longs that you can probably push a little bit further as well, because at least we're seeing some structural breaks. Simply just buying from that target probably won't prove to be a good trade. So yeah, your best bet still sells. And if you can see some upside into retest this area here at 0.62800, or just back at that same resistance again, since the sellers are still, trapping price underneath that level. If the sellers are still going to hold, we expect price not to break above. And yeah, continue its path to the downside. So with AU, nothing's changed for this one. Still looking for this one to sell off into those lows. If we do break through this, we do obviously have the wick low down there, but I doubt we'll hit that next week. So again, that's something to think about for the future. But as of right now, still looking at more downside, and targets, we've got 0.613 for next week. And now for NZD CAD. So NZD CAD, not too much for this one, just retracement this week, mostly, as you can see, to the upside. I was talking about potential test of this level here, and you can see we did react with that level pretty well, only on Thursday, Friday. So yeah, late into the week, we did react with that level. But if I do zoom out, you can see the structure is still consistent with those lower highs, consistent lower highs. So, from a directional perspective, we don't have to think too much outside the box with this one. Everything is pointing to the downside in terms of the structure. That's how I base my analysis and my directional bias. So from that perspective, there's not much to be done other than just look for sell opportunities, really. And now we've come back into a nice area, react with that, and I'll be expecting more downside basically, and these lows to go next, and just continue that pattern of lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high. We're seeing higher time frames still display bearish momentum, monthly, weekly, daily, still displaying momentum. So the likelihood is these lows will be taken out, and beyond that, there's not really a lot to work with. I have to scroll back quite far to look at any data, and there's no real key level that is drawn to my interest. So again, for this one, utilizing the psychological levels, we've got 0.76 just below. If we do take out those lows, we could see the market attracted to that area. We've got 0.75 around here-ish, and we've got 0.75 on the dot as well. So these levels could be what attracts price, or you could look to use a trading stop loss, or simply just exit the trade back at these lows here, where there's a likelihood the market could react with that level, of course. But yeah, NZD CAD still looking at more downside. We do have this area here that we could test as well, because we might not see price come back and retest that level. So the shorts would have been good there, last week, this week. But if you are looking to enter it now, you want to see retracement, at least back to the 0.77600 level, or even better, 0.77800, and then yeah, catch some shorts to the downside from one of those two levels. But from a target wise and directional wise, expecting these lows to be hit next. So yeah, nothing too much for NZD CAD, just expecting more downside. And if you do clear the lows, we'll start using the psychological levels as targets. So that's what I'll be expecting next week for NZD CAD. And up next, we've got pound NZD. So this one, we did see quite a lot of consolidation, and then price exploded to the upside, as you can see. So looking bullish from that, and we're having some correction. Again, with pound NZD, I'm not really looking at it too much from a structural perspective, because the higher time frames are a little bit all over the place, as you can see though. So it's a kind of a big consolidation, a big range. So it's difficult to really have an edge from a structural perspective, because the market is just basically fluctuating. I know on the lower time frames we are seeing bullish momentum. I'm still favoring that momentum overall, but as to other trending markets where we're utilizing multiple time frames, the edge is not going to play out as well in these conditions as it will with like EURUSD or AUD/USD, for example. So with this one, I'm mainly focusing on the key levels of the market. So we had a key level over there as resistance on the weekly time frame, key level resistance here, and finally a key level up here. So simply, if the market breaks above this level, I'll be expecting a move back to these highs, and that's exactly what we've done actually. As you can see, just about had a nice close above there on the weekly. Not the most convincing, but I do like what's happening on the daily and the 4H with this retest, especially after this momentum here. So as long as pound NZD can stay above this 2.000, the level, I would have favored another continuation back to 2.05. and at least a push back to these highs here, because we could obviously struggle at these highs and come back down again. That is a possibility. So that this level here could prove to be a nice place to take partials or break even or something like that, or even target if you're not looking for, you know, a full, you know, kind of intra-week or swing trade. This level here at 2.024 could be a nice little level to look at as well. But for me, for pound NZD, favoring buys since we're above that level. As long as we can remain above that, looking for a push into 2.04 for next week. If we do get back underneath, we'll consider looking for the shorts back down to the lows of the range. As you can see, we had a nice little retest of the lower range again this week before price shot to the upside. So, you know, if you do break back underneath, that'll be a nice little target to set it back to, but mainly focus on the longs here. We've got some nice weekly confidence as well with that closure above. So yeah, favoring that bullish momentum to continue back to 2.04 for next week. Okay, so next up we've got CAD Yen. So CAD Yen this week, we did see some upside. I was expecting the market to roll over, to go and take out these lows and potentially go and tap into some key levels down here on the daily. However, we failed to break through that support. We had a couple attempts to break through this support this week. So we had one attempt there pretty early on, then we had a second attempt off the back of some news. As you can see, we rejected it a couple of times, and the bulls held that support and actually went to go and take out these highs here on the left. So we are starting to see some bullish structure here. You can see we held the support, we've got the high, higher low, and now new highs. So I do think CAD Yen is starting to slowly work its way to the upside. We are, however, coming into a pretty key level here on the daily. As you can see, this is the prior swing high from the last bullish cycle. So swing, create the high, pull back, create that higher high there. So we are tapping into this level. So I do think we can see some downside, but I do think the sells will be short term, because number one, the high time frames are still showing bullish structure, and number two, the 4H is starting to turn bullish as well, you know, with this low down here and that high and the higher low with this wick off the back of that news. So shorts do look good, but I wouldn't hold it for too long, and buys do look good back down here on the 105 400 mark down here, coming into this zone, and also on the retest of this level here as well. Buys will look good to the upside, just staying in tune with what the higher time frames are doing, and indeed with what the 4H is doing as well, which is starting to print some bullish structure. But this is a significant level which I do expect the market to react at, hence we can probably capitalize on some short-term sells, but like I said, I wouldn't push it too far, because momentum is still with the bulls on this one, especially after this prior bullish swing that we've just seen. So just to recap, CAD Yen starting to look bullish with this 4H structure. Could be seeing the next high time frame swing back to those highs that could be on the cards. I do want to see a snap through 107 500, which is this resistance first, before I start calling out some bigger term, some bigger and longer term swing trades. But at the moment, it's expecting retracement, expecting some temporary short side movement for some bigger longs to be coming through. And the long areas I'll be looking at is 106 200, so around the 106 psychological level, and the 105 400, 105 300 back down at these lows here. So that's the plan for next week for CAD Yen. And now we'll move on to pound USD. So pound USD this week, we did see some upside here. As you can see, quite a strong move to the upside. Again, coming into the week, I did say we might see some potential short-term buys from this area here. We did see some slight upside, but as you can see, we did go and break through the area. Bit of a false move there to the downside of that strong bearish candle. Market climbed that back up again and actually used that as support for a bigger move to the upside. So pound USD, I did say there were short-term buys, but my bias is still bearish. I still do expect more downside for pound USD. And again, I'm still a seller in this market, or at least looking to sell this market lower. And we did just about tap into that resistance here. So prior resistance then support, which is probably, what the market broke through to go and test before the bigger move to the upside. And obviously news did help that move out, but nothing's changed really. I'm still looking at this being our next lower high, our next major lower high in the market. As you can see, the market is still failing to get near to that area. So I'm still expecting us to roll over, and targets for next week, we can be looking at push back down to those lows and potentially coming back into some of these areas now. I wouldn't push it too far down here. Again, we're still at sensitive regions here for pound USD. These are all-time lows. Don't really want to be holding trades into those areas. Day trading, yes, take what you can and leave, but from a swing stance, you want to be taking your profit a little bit earlier, just in case we have big reactions coming to those sensitive regions. But yeah, pound USD, areas of interest, this high that the market just created, and also this high up there as well. I don't want to see the market start breaking through some structure like this. That could mean that not necessarily a reversal. I wouldn't look at that as a reversal, because the main swings on the daily are still intact, and this is really our main swing. We could still come back and retest that broken support there before a bigger sell-off. So I wouldn't be saying reversal, but it just might mean that we could be climbing a lot higher, maybe for a few weeks before a bigger sell-off. In that case, I'll be changing my kind of short-term immediate bias of pound USD. But as of right now, it still definitely sells, which I'm looking for. So two areas of interest, looking at another test of 1.135 and also 1.145 or 1.14750 of those levels there, and targets, looking for a push back down to the lows of this week, which is 1.095. Maybe if we're lucky, we might see some new lows back down in that area, but again, I'm not trying to push the trade too far. And take what you can from this potential move here. So pound USD still looking bearish. We'll see what we can do at those highs. 1.09 is the target, but we'll look at 1.135 and 1.14750 as areas of interest to actually look to sell the market, but bias still to the downside, and we potentially could be looking at 1.08 as well as an extended target. But that's what I've got next week for pound USD. And now over to pound CAD. So pound CAD this week, pretty bullish move. Again, I did say I do expect to see some upside for pound CAD, but not too much. And we did see quite a lot. So I was expecting the market to see some upside, because we were reacting with this area here, and we're coming into this bigger range, which we had a big kind of manipulation, so to speak. A big move to the downside here, and the market rallied straight through it. So I knew this range was going to be of importance, and the market was going to react to let me start again, because I was just waffling. Okay, so now on to pound CAD. So pound CAD, quite a lot of momentum to the upside. I did say I do favor to see some upside, but nothing too major. So I definitely wasn't expecting the market to rally like it did. I did say we were coming to some important areas, coming to this area here, and also the bigger range here on the left, which we kind of see the market fake to the downside and then rally straight through it. So we knew this range here would definitely be a sensitive region where the market could react and see some upside. So I was expecting the market to come up, but not too far, because the higher time frames again still pointed down. So that's where I get my bias from, and where I expect the market to keep going essentially until structure breaks really. But yeah, we did see some slight upside there and again there, but the market then did rally straight through that, of course, and actually take out those highs on the left, which is not of major importance, but it does tell us that if we do see a corrective pullback, which looks like the market is indeed doing right now, we probably will come up and retest those highs again. As to the high time frame structure, nothing's really broken yet. Again, I'm still looking at this being my major lower high in the market. So as long as the daily time frame doesn't go and violate this area at 1.57689, I'm still overall bearish on the pair. Not that I won't look for longs, because I do think there's a good long opportunity here, but I'm not going to be looking to push it and be as aggressive with these opportunities as I will be with shorts when I do get them, and they're not really looking too good right now. So 1.535 looks like a fantastic level. If you can retest that, find some nice buy opportunities from this area here, potentially a nice higher low, because obviously you've got the higher high, higher low, higher high, potentially new higher low, probably some nice fib confluence around here as well. If I thicken that up, you can see we are coming into that 0.5, 0.618 area. So just a nice confluence into that region. And targets, like I said, I won't be too aggressive, just to push back to the high. Potentially we could go and tap into this resistance here, but if I do take that trade, I'll probably just keep it to the high, just in case we double top it and roll back over and see the bear step back in for pound there. So pound CAD for next week, nice little buy opportunity there. I wouldn't push it further than that. Area of interest 1.535 and targets 1.56 for next week. And now we're on to pound yen. So pound yen this week, pretty bullish. Again, for this one, sim analysis to pound CAD. I said From here, we could see some nice buys to the upside, but I do think they'll be short-lived, and I did expect the market to roll over later on, but we just rallied to the upside, and as you can see, big explosive move at the same time as pound CAD taking us to the upside and breaking through those structural highs there, which again, I didn't expect pound CAD to do. But now that we've done that, we can assess what's going on. Again, part of trading is reacting, adapting, not so much predicting what the market could do. Because if you try and always predict the market, you'll be so stressed out. So yeah, pound CAD looking bullish here, taking out those highs. It hasn't taken out the major structure here on the left, because you can see this is the high. This is the high that actually gave us this down move that broke through all of these structural lows here. So that is still the critical high that I want to see pound yen take out. But it has taken out this high, which does again give us a good long opportunity coming back down to this area. But again, I wouldn't push the trade too far because we could roll over. So I'm looking at more upside for pound yen. We could potentially go and take out the highs there. I'll wait for the market to do that, and then I'll reanalyze it, with that information, in mind. But we haven't taken out that level, so we could still potentially roll back over. But because of the structure that we printed right now, the fact that we've taken out those 4H highs there, high, higher low, higher high, we'll be expecting some type of higher low to form here. It may come into this level and then roll over, or we could shoot through and tap into 168, maybe 170 as well. But for me, similar opportunity to pound CAD. If we can get retracement into this area, that would be great, and then buys back into that level. We are struggling to break through this high here, so there could be potential early buys on Monday if we do respect that level and push through. I'll be looking for a bit more retracement before looking to enter the trade. But if you are looking on the lower time frames, a retest of this level around the 165, 600 mark could prove to be some nice buys, because right now there's a lot of momentum in the market and we might not see a retracement into this area. For me, I'll be waiting for that one, but on the lower time frames, you might want to be looking at 166, 600, around that area for your buys as well. But this is what I'll keep in mind. So pound yen, the bias for next week is bullish, but I'm not looking to push it too far. 167 will be the target, and yeah, we'll be looking for buys from 163, 500 for next week. And now we're going to check out gold. So gold this week, as you can see, looking bearish. Was very choppy to start off. Actually, no, I lie. It actually was very, very bearish to start off. As you can see, strong move to the downside. It was kind of choppy from like Tuesday to Thursday. Then we had some news and things got spicy again. But again, nothing's really changed for gold. The bias is still to the downside. I did tell you guys coming into the week, I was looking for a retest of this zone up here. Didn't quite see that of 1700. The market fell pretty sharply and didn't come back to retest those areas. But never mind. There's a lot more opportunities on our way, like I've been saying for quite a while now. Still looking for gold to retest this monthly level here on the left at 1550. So for me, there's just still a lot more downside left for gold. So no need to worry about missing those shorts, because most likely I will get another entry. So I'm looking at this level here, breaking for gold. As you can see, the 1660 level was holding up this range here. Nice support there, nice level there as well, holding. But now the market is snapping through that, and we are looking at some unorthodox head and shoulder here, if you will. You can see the left, the head, and the right shoulder. So the market is displaying a lot of signs of reversal, and I'm expecting the market to tap into this level next week, potentially. Next week I can see the market doing that, and then we could be looking at 1600. That could be a great psychological level the market could be drawn towards next, and then 1550 down there as well, which we'll keep in the back of our heads for now. But yeah, I'm looking for some retracement for gold to retest this level or even higher as well, as long as we don't go and break through this structural point here, because this is the last kind of push, lower high, then the continuation. So as long as we don't go and break through this high here, which is at 1683, I'm still expecting gold to roll over. So, and if we do tap into any of these levels here, I'm still a bear and still be looking for the market to roll over. It's just that this 1660 level is looking like a great place to sell from. But if it does come a little bit higher, no need to worry. Still looking for those short opportunities. And targets for the week, I'll probably leave at 1620. If we are seeing a lot of momentum, then maybe 1600 down there. But again, we're not trying to, do too much in the market. Just take what we can and leave. But if you want to trail your stop loss, you could be looking at pushing a lot further. Maybe 1600 could be a nice target to have, but I'll see what type of risk to reward we're looking at. But most likely I'll be looking at 1620, if not then 1600. But that's what I've got going into next week for gold. Okay, so now on to Bitcoin. So Bitcoin this week, a little bit hectic. You can see wicks to the downside, wicks to the upside. The market's grabbing liquidity everywhere, but in the grand scheme of things, nothing's really changed in terms of the market conditions. You can see for the past few days, few weeks, we're still kind of consolidating for Bitcoin. But yeah, so Bitcoin, we're still looking for a push to go and take out these lows here at 17,600-ish. Going into the lower time frames, 4H, I did give out 2 areas of interest. I said the buys from here could look good for a move to the upside, but short term. However, you can see the buys failed there. The market just broke through very aggressively. Then the second level I was talking about was this kind of zone here, excuse me, at 19,900, which actually worked out pretty well. As you can see, a nice test into that resistance and a pretty strong reaction back down again. And again, the reason the buys failed and the sells worked is because the higher time frames are still pointing down. So again, in terms of probability of a trade working out, the buys will be lower. It doesn't really matter what the setup is, just because momentum's not in its favor. The buys will be less favorable than the sells. Not that to say that the buys were not a good trade. It was a good opportunity, but yeah, it just didn't work out, whereas the sells did, and we're still seeing the momentum present. So with Bitcoin, again, still overall favoring the sell bias to go and take out the lows there. I've also just noticed that we've got some liquidity building up here. You can see we've formed those lows there, and the market almost pinched those lows there. So that means we've got to build up a liquidity, and normally when this happens, the market does go and run these lows eventually. So that's another reason why I'm expecting the market to see some more downside for Bitcoin soon. And areas of interest, again, it would be nice to sell from up there, but we may not come back to retest it. So 19,500 looks like a good level to short from as well. If we do come up higher, brilliant, better risk to reward, and obviously just a better place to sell from in general. But yeah, only really looking for sells for Bitcoin now. I'm not really seeing any clear buy setups on the cards. That was a nice buy setup from last week. And as of right now, I'm not really seeing any buys. Maybe from down here, can probably catch maybe a bit of a bounce to the upside, but I'm expecting those lows to break. So really, you want to be a seller, into those levels rather than try and buy from it. But Bitcoin looking bearish to me, expecting more downside. Areas of interest, we've got 19,600 and 19,800, 19 and 900 up there. And targets looking for those lows to be taken out around 18,200, then potentially those wick lows there at 17,600. So that's what I've got for Bitcoin. Last but not least, our bonus pair, which is US30. So US30 this week, a little bit up and down. You can see we are starting to consolidate a little bit, but in terms of trend and the market structure, I'm still favoring the sells. Everything is still pointing down. And if you were on the streams this week, if you're not on the streams, get on the streams. I stream every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. UK time. Yeah, we were looking for these lows to go, and as you can see, we were pretty close off the back of the news, pretty close to taking up those lows, similar to the setup on Bitcoin, where price has formed some lows and has almost come to take them out, but failed to do so, again giving us a build up of liquidity underneath. So again, naturally expecting the market to run through those lows, and again the market structure is still down, so it's just adding to the confluence of what we're already expecting in the market. But yeah, we did see a big move to the upside. Again, that may have confused some people, but in reality, nothing's really changed in terms of market structure. Everything's still pointing down. Nice rejection of 30,200, which is that level. So basically, as long as we stay below this, I will be expecting, I'll say Bitcoin there, we'll be expecting US30 to head to the downside and take out these lows for next week. And if we don't get there, because we might not come back for another test, but this structure here, if you can retest that, that'll be a nice place, maybe on the hourly or 30-minute to get some entries into the downside as well. But yeah, US30 for me, bearish bias. I'm still pretty bearish on the indices in general, and yeah, all of them are displaying bearish structure and bearish setup. So always got to favor the shorts in a bearish trend at the end of the day. But yeah, US30 looking bearish here, expecting 28,600 to be taken out probably next week. Again, I'm just looking at this being fake momentum here, maybe buying, getting some people excited, buying at these highs. but in truth, structure hasn't broken yet. So still favoring the sells. If you do break through that, then that's when I'll start, considering the buys for a bigger swing. But right now, the sells are still looking your best bet. So a retest of this structure around 29,990 or 30,300 looks good for sells and targets to go and take up those lows for next week. But yeah, guys, that is the end of the video. Hopefully you found it useful and learned something as well. Try and make it educational as well for you guys. But yeah, if you have enjoyed the video, please be sure to leave a like. It does really help the channel out and obviously helps out the video. If you haven't done already, subscribe, join the family, become a subscriber of the channel, join the community that we're creating here. But yeah, guys, if you have enjoyed it, please be sure to share as well. Hit the bell so you don't miss any uploads. And like I said, check out the streams during the week. Great place to hang out and talk everything Forex. But yeah, guys, I will catch you in the next one. I will be live again Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday next week. I will be posting educational content, and obviously this happens every Saturday as well. So make sure you are subscribed. But yeah, guys, I will catch you all in the next one.